call to order the regular March meeting of South Union Township's Board of Supervisors. Please stand for a silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On the roll call, Mr. Schiffbauer.
Here.
Mr. Vernon.
Here.
Mr. Scott here. Number 5, the Roadmaster's report for the month of February. During the month of February, we got a lot of cleanup. We only plowed and salted 2 times. I think it was actually just salt 2 different times. We swept 12 days in the month of February, which is really good for February. We had some warm days. We straightened a lot of signs that were moved over the winter. We patched 4 days. We're way better this year on the patching than we were last year. We have a lot less potholes. We did a lot of patching last summer with that mill, and I think it really paid off because there's definitely not as many potholes as there was last year, but we didn't have as bad a winter either. But we did patch 4 days. We picked up litter. We had a couple community service workers that helped out and our guys, and we got litter picked up. A lot, I mean, there's still a lot to go, but we did get litter picked up 6 days this month. We picked up all the loose curbs. We've getting a lot of calls just because it's nice out this week. The asphalt plant doesn't open. We called today.
Second week of April.
Second week of April, so we still have about a month before the asphalt plant. There's no sense of putting cold patch in and then we have to take it back out. So as soon as the asphalt plant opens, we will get those curbs put back in. We did add on to our salt shed. As you know, we're using sand now, not the gravel. So we added on another bay to just so we can keep more of the sand on stock. They actually finished that up today. It looks pretty good. We're going to start filling it. We cleaned up debris. We did have 2 windstorms in February. We cleaned up all the debris from the windstorms. We cut up a lot of trees and picked most of the debris up. And we installed new stalls in the bathrooms in the rec center. We got those done. Our guys did those, saved a lot of money with the township doing them ourselves, and got that all cleaned up. You gentlemen have anything to add?
Just want to mention, okay.
I have no.
Just that one thing, we had 4 roads to be paved last November, and they couldn't get to them. El Grande called us last week. Hopefully those roads will be paved the first week or second week now of April when they open up the plant. That would be Barton Mill Road, Schaefer's Corner, part of Township Drive, and Michael Drive. The 4 that we used our grant money for, 2014 grant money. So hopefully then we'll be able to maybe get some roads to look at in the next couple of weeks and maybe put them out for paving. Have our bids go out maybe in April for paving and maybe May or June.
Yeah, we're going to try to get it out earlier this year so they can get to it. Anything else? Thank you. Number 6 is the Code Enforcement Officer's report. Mr. Vernon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The month of February Code Enforcement Officer's report. Again, we have 1 full-time officer working Monday through Friday from 7 to 3:30, and we have another part-time officer working 4 days a week from 8 to 3. Also, we have 4 working in the evenings and on weekends. So we covered a total of 1,310 miles by our daytime officers and 1,711 miles for our part-time officers throughout the township. So a total of 3,021 miles was patrolled throughout the township. However, there are a lot of break-ins. Just please keep your cars locked. They're not breaking the cars, only unlocked cars. We've had 3 break-ins of houses. People were not home. One in Hawkwood, one over in Bud Harry Chills area, and also we have one over by the Arford area that we know of. Letters sent out by a code enforcement officer for property repairs. We had 3. Junk vehicles, we had 3. Burning complaints, we had 1. Again, you can only burn on Saturdays from 8 to 5. We had 1. We posted 1 property that unsafe human occupancy. That's 1 posted, and then we had no quad complaints, but I know there's people with quads out there. We had 2 last night. That'd be in March also. But citations issued, we had 27 citations issued throughout the township for the month of February. Also, we had some parking tickets handed out, 9 for handicap and 5 for the firemen. That concludes our report for the code. Anybody has any other questions or comments?
Mr. Schiffauer, anything?
Nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Vernon.
Can I ask a question with regards to code enforcement?
This is February. Yeah, it's just February.
This is our report.
Comments from the public, you can bring it up
Yeah.
at that time.
Okay, but this is regarding code enforcement.
Well, this
You
is
can bring
just
it
a
up at
report,
that
yeah.
time.
This is just a report we have to get out. You'll get a chance in a few minutes.
Number 7, motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion approved. Number 8, comments on agenda items. Does anyone have any comments on the agenda items?
I do. With regards to code enforcement,
You have to come up to the podium, please state your name.
Mhm.
That's just on the channel, not the hurry. It's got to go on. Never let her make a call.
This is safer. Let me take this one.
okay?
Yeah, please state your name.
Okay, my
and then
name is
make your
Bernie
comment.
Susovich.
Sure.
I live at 61 Mullen Street. And my first question is I had the cones that were blocking, that were sitting out, protecting my parking, my steps so I can go down them. They were removed. I want to know why they were removed.
They
They were removed on the 22nd.
They were in the township right of way. They were
But a
removed.
vehicle can sit there. I do not want Mr. Scott, all due respect to the supervisors, I do not want him to respond to my questions.
First of all, ma'am, and with all due respect to you as well, Mr. Scott's a supervisor, and of course, you can't control which supervisor responds to your questions. But that's a township right-of-way, and we've told you that before.
Right, but
And
a
as
car can
township
sit there.
As a township right-of-way, that the car can sit there. It's unfortunate that this has been going on, but it is a township right-of-way. And there is parking on that right-of-way, and it's not reserved for any particular person.
Then why can't you put any type of sign in front of my steps? I have been here for a year asking for no parking in front of my steps, and I would like for some response.
We've given a response.
I can respond. We have an ordinance we can put no parking on one side or the other side of the road, but we can't, we have no ordinance that we can.
Why can't, I've been asking for a year for you to do something with regards to an ordinance adjusting it. You can make, in front of my steps, you could have made in the last year an adjustment to the ordinance.
Ma'am, if we pass an ordinance to stop people from parking in front of steps, you can understand the impact that could have on
However,
the township. We
this has
cannot
been
have-
going on for a year. It's not something that has passed by in a year. I have tolerated it for a year.
Ma'am, what we understand happening is this dispute with you and your neighbor, and it's unfortunate, but it is a private dispute between two parties.
It's
And the
not a
township-
private dispute
The
between two
township
parties.
we are not in a position to regulate parking beyond no parking on that street. Now, we know that if we were to impose a no parking restriction on that street, there will be a lot of other people.
I'm not
on the street
asking
that
for
would
the
be
entire street. I am asking why you cannot do something with the ordinance and make an amendment to the ordinance. Put no parking in front of my steps, so I can use my steps.
So we would have to, you're asking us to put no parking in front of all the steps in South Union Township. Is that what you're suggesting?
You do stop signs in different streets, and you put no parking in different areas.
On her street, there's like, for that area, there's like 3 sets of steps that go down. But if we do one, then we make an ordinance, that goes for the whole township.
Right.
Then we have to.
We're not positioned to legislate parking issues for one property. What you're asking us to do would impact the entire township. We can't pick and choose. It's unfortunate that this has been going on, and it's not that the supervisors are not sympathetic, but they are limited in what we can and cannot do on a right-of-way, and there's those limitations impact you, unfortunately, but this is why I'm hoping that
But you're
the
not
two of you
allowed,
will-
the township is not allowing me access to my house.
That's not true, but, we're...
I cannot go from the road to my house through my steps.
I
That
can't-
is true,
I don't know that. If that has happened, then it has happened, but there, people
You've
can park
seen the
on the street.
photos where the car blocks it, and yes, almost every day for the last 10 solid months, I
Well,
have been dealing with this.
Do you have a comment on the agenda item?
Yes,
Okay,
the other
would you
thing
please make-
is I placed a 911 call on February 20th to the state police regarding an incident at my house where the people across the street, the boy was kicking my trash from the curb of the road and onto my sidewalk exactly twice. I had witnesses showing where I put it back up, and I called 911. They said that the code enforcement officer would come to my house. I sat with Sharon for 2.5 hours, and no one came. I got no call, nobody from the
Did you
township.
call 911 back? Did you call them back?
The state police said the South Union Township would handle that code enforcement. They specifically said that to me, and nobody came.
No, that's a state police issue. We are not the police officer. Our police is the state police.
Well, I called 911, and
We
they
have
said the
Bernie, we
code
have no
officer was handling
authority.
it.
We have no authority to handle anything in the crime scale.
Sounds to me like that is an issue for the state police of criminal
Yeah.
mischief. It would not be an issue for the code enforcement officer.
We have no
They
authority.
said they were told to give the calls to the code enforcement officer early in the day,
Then-
not
then-
2.5 hours
Then I
earlier.
would say they were incorrect.
Okay, 2.5 hours earlier, there were 6 residents walking and doing stuff out in their yards. And the code enforcement officer came to find out why we were blocking McLay's driveway again. There was no car anywhere near that driveway. The code enforcement officer saw them pull out, and then he drove around the block and asked what the problem was.
When was this, Bernie?
That was on the 20th, not 2 hours before I placed the 911 call. And the code enforcement officer came. Do you remember that gentleman's name?
Bernie, sorry, my code enforcement officer has already been told, we have no authority to control the parking area. There's a problem, someone blocking, you must call the state police. And they've been out 3 times, I know they've been out a few times.
Yes.
And I did talk to your attorney about the situation, and I advised her what I thought was a proper channel to go through. And she never got back with me.
Yeah, I
did
have
talk to
spoken with her, yes.
Yeah. And the other side has an attorney also. We received a letter from the other side requesting the same thing. They have ample parking for their side. And hopefully, someone will go into common police court and maybe have a hearing and get something straightened out. We
Okay.
can't do anything.
But how can a code officer come 2 hours before and then 2 hours later, nothing?
Like
And especially when 911 said they were the state police were instructed to give the calls to
Well,
the code enforcement
Our
officer.
code officer was wrong if he did anything. He shouldn't have. Now, back, let me answer your question to the cones. First time I got a call, I told the officer, go up there and get the
Okay,
cones.
now I want to know who called you.
I don't know who called me. I was on the road. I told him, go get the cones, put them on your porch, which he did. The second time, I didn't get the call, but I asked the officer, why'd you bring him back? He said, you have a no trespassing sign in your yard. That's why it was brought back to the township. First time it was put on your porch, if you remember correctly. They were put on the porch the first time.
Okay.
Then the second time, he didn't put them on
Okay,
the
so
porch.
then you've got 2 complaints about the code, and you responded within a matter of an hour to 2
I
hours
don't-
because
I don't know
I
what
left
time
for
it
work
was.
at 8:30 in the morning. By 10:15, I received a call saying the cones were taken.
The officer calls, he's up there, she says, put the cones back on her porch, what I told him. Second time, I don't know.
Okay, now why can't you instruct the neighbors to park on their side and we park on our side?
If we had that authority, we would do that. We don't have that authority. We wish we did.
You can't direct them where to park.
If we don't have that authority, in fact, the district judge could do
People
that.
don't own the parking spaces in front of their homes.
Okay, my next question to you is, how long would each one of you tolerate this? If
I
it was
told you what
directly
I'd
in front of
do.
your house?
I'd be in common police court, let the judge make a decision.
And
They
that
have
would
to
take
have
2
powers.
years to go to civil,
It shouldn't take
No,
out.
no, that-
to file a civil complaint and to go back and forth.
I'm not going to comment on that, but I would suggest to you that it certainly wouldn't have taken
No.
anywhere near that long.
We're going in for relief on an injunction now.
I
Yeah,
would
the meeting
suggest to you
hearing.
it certainly wouldn't take anywhere near that long. I'd be surprised if it took 60 days.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
my next question is I gave to
No, we're
Attorney
on-
Davis.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, with regards to the right to know request, which is basically this. I asked about the incident on that day with regards to the code officer, and I have not received a call, a response, or
We
anything.
talked about that. You told me to hold up to you.
No,
talk to your attorney.
I delivered to Mr. Davis's office a new right to know request on the 2nd of
And
the
then that's
month.
my, I told him to hold up on it, but you, I talked to
No,
your
this
attorney.
was last Wednesday. I delivered it personally to his office.
Well, first of all, under right to know law, you should have delivered it to the township. Secondly, I'm not going to respond to your right to know request unless I'm directed to respond by the township supervisors. It was my understanding that you had talked to Mr. Vernon and there was no need for me to respond.
No, that was in
If you're
February.
if you want to, if I'm directed by the supervisor to respond, we'll respond in accordance with the right to know statute.
Well, yes, you should respond within 5 days.
If you didn't provide it to the township, you don't give it to the solicitor. It's not my role.
Well, I don't know, okay,
Well,
and
well,
another
you have-
thing
I
with regard to
understand
my
you-
sewage bill,
I
for the
understand you
first
have-
time in 18 years, I did not get my sewage bill. I had to call and get my sewage bill because I did not even receive my sewage bill last week. I called last week on the 22nd, I spoke with Courtney. I did not get my bill, I had to ask that, and it did not come until Friday.
I know nothing about that, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of issues that have been going on and things going on. Now, it's strange, in 18 years, I did not get my sewage bill, that I had to actually call the sewage authority and request.
Did they tell you they mailed it out to you?
But I did not get it.
I can't help you, I don't know nothing about that. But I did talk to your attorney, she told me to hold up on, write the note until she got back with this.
No, that was in February, I
Right.
gave it to you. I provided him with one in March. On March 2nd, last Wednesday, I went and I hand-delivered it to him. So then when would I be expecting a response?
I'll get back to you when I've talked to the supervisors. I'm not going to give you an answer now, and you didn't hand it to me, you left it at my front desk.
Right, and I had them sign off on it.
That's
Yes,
right.
I did.
But again, it's not, a request for information should come to the Township Municipal Building.
Well,
not to the
considering the
solicitor.
circumstances and the friendliness between Mr. Scott and the McLeays, I cannot trust
Now,
that.
that's certainly not true. Mr. Scott always does his job. I work with him, I work with these supervisors, they do an excellent
You
job.
may,
will.
but I
let me-
haven't.
Excuse me, please don't interrupt me, let me finish, please. I will respond if I'm directed to by the supervisors, even though it wasn't provided to me in the proper course. But if the supervisors suggest that I respond and direct me to do that, you'll get a response.
And Bernie, for the record, I don't know you as well, but Sharon and I grew up together, I know her, I talked to her. Well, we gotta stay neutral in the situation. I hope someone goes into court and gets it straightened out, believe me, it bothers us too.
Well, Mr.
Believe me.
Scott's attitude is that I am blocking their driveway.
No, he's
Blocking
not
the-
that.
Yes, he
He
has
wants
said
to
that
work
Any
it
several
other
out.
times.
comments on the agenda items?
Yeah, let's
He
go
has
on.
said that
Let's
several
move
times.
on.
We're moving on.
Yeah, move on, please.
Jason, your pool truck's at your dad's.
Thank you.
Number 9.
Yes.
Number,
Moving on, number 9, update on the Sheepskin Trail. Mr. Schiffbauer, could you give us an update on that, please?
Yes, as we made aware several months ago that our grant application from DCNR was approved for $380,000 for the construction of the Sheepskin Trail, 2.1 miles running through South Union Township. Talking to the project manager in Harrisburg, the contracts and agreements will be sent out within the next couple of weeks, and sometime shortly after that, we will be given the green light to proceed with the construction of the trail through South Union Township. And we're ready to go, and hopefully the project for Sheepskin Trail will be completed before the end of the summer, put into use.
Thank you, Mr. Schiffbauer. Mr. Vernon, do you have anything to add?
No,
Moving on, number 10, the sewage department report for the month of February. As you know, January 1st, we took over the sewage, and in the last couple months, we've had a few issues we've been trying to work through. They started a GIS program, and in the month of February, we have 1,400 manholes total. In the month of February, we've approximately located 500 more points, and they've been shot with the GIS, so I'm hoping by the end of March that we have this system complete, which is going to help us a lot. We'll know where all our manholes are located by GPS. It's going to be a lot easier. We had a couple issues with the copier, a new copier we bought, and the company actually brought another copier in to replace it. They've been very good with us, so we're working through that issue. Our Route 21 pump station is probably our biggest thing we have going on right now. We had a contract to replace it. We've stopped the contract. It's delayed for 60 days. And we're just looking over to see what we can do to try to save the township some money before we move forward with that. We did 41 one calls. There's a lot of things that the sewage authority does. We have two full-time workers in the field and 2 in the office, and they do an excellent job. I've been very happy with the progress we've made in the last 2 months moving forward. We have 3 pump stations we maintain. Approximately, how many feet of line do we have, Mr. Over? You would know. I think it's
A lot.
Almost 2 miles, I think.
It's actually more than that.
Is it more than that?
It's approaching 3 miles a line.
And
So it's approximately 16,000 feet
Right,
a
and
mile.
it's 40 years old, so there's a lot of maintenance. You know, we were one of the first townships to put sewage in, and, you know, the maintenance is catching up with us, so we have a lot of work in front of us, but I feel with the team we have, we can handle it. Anyone have anything to add to the sewage report, Mr. Ober?
No, I have nothing further, but I'd like to back up again to the prior item. Aside from the project in South Union Township, we have been communicating with the county commissioners and beyond the borders of South Union Township. It has to be recognized the significance of the impact that if the sheepskin trail were to be constructed in its entirety, the 34 miles from Connsville to Point Marion, the economic impact to this county would be significant and beyond anybody's belief. It's been proven in other areas. The commissioners, we've asked them to form an authority, a sheepskin authority, that would be under the auspices of the county commissioners. Forming an authority would give us a lot more tools to work with to bring about the construction of the entire trail throughout the county. And we will be meeting with the commissioners here in the next 2 weeks. They verbally adopted or agreed with the concept of creating an authority, and we're just going to have to work out the details of it. There's a good bit to do before it actually is put into use if it does come about. And sometime in the future, the authority we're anticipating would partner with one of the non-profit organizations like the Browse Trails Conservancy. They also bring other tools to the table that would help to attract additional private sources of funding. It's going to take a substantial amount of money, and partnering the authority with a group like the RTC would really give us a good standing chance to bring in the dollars that would be needed to construct the trail. But you have to understand the economic impact, and I didn't realize it, and I think my fellow supervisors haven't realized it until recently, and looking at other areas, what it brings in to dollars into the county. It impacts restaurants, hotels, other types of businesses, and it just goes on. And hooking up, and what is so significant and what makes the potential even greater with the sheepskin trail, it would actually hook up the Greater Allegheny Passageway with the large system of trails in West Virginia. That would all but guarantee even more significant sources of economic development. So hopefully, and I know the commissioners are committed to doing the project, and it's something that, as I've stated many times, that would be one of the best things to happen to this county in a long time. And I think it's not understood, or it's taken for granted what a project like this would do for the county. But I think we have to pull together, support it from the community, support it from the elected officials, and working together, we can make it happen. We will be keeping you up to date during our monthly meeting, our reports, and letting you know what's going on with the formation of the authority.
Thank you, Mr. Schiffmeyer. And that concludes my sewage report also. Moving on to number 11. Pass a resolution to approve sewer planning module for Chili's Restaurant. If you want to touch on that, Mr. Ober.
Yeah, the Chili's restaurant is going to be located where the old Sheets on Route 40 was. The reason for the planning module is that there's an increased sewage demand or loading conditions, so the planning module needs to be processed. This is for 22 EDUs for the new Chili's restaurant to be located there. So,
Any questions?
In regard to sewage, maybe John, you're one of our representatives on the Greater Authority.
yes.
And also working here with the township. Maybe you could bring us up to date what recently happened with the DEP and its lifting any type of restrictions regarding the plant and how it affects the township here.
as most of the community probably knows, and especially those that are in the development side of things, South Union Township, North Union, and the City of Uniontown, all members of the Greater Joint Sewage Authority, have been under a mandatory TAP consideration for the last 10 years that I know of, maybe longer. And that, because of the operational changes in the hiring of a new operations manager at the Greater Joint Sewage Authority, in his management role, has basically changed the operation down there significantly without major expense. It's all management. In working with the DEP, that TAP constraint has been lifted effective February the 1st of 2016. So in the year of 2016, those three communities that are provided service by the Greater Joint Sewage Authority plant are no longer under a TAP restriction. There's still a requirement to report any new TAPs to the Greater, but it's been a significant improvement in the management at that plant. Continuing to try to improve the management at that plant. There's still room to grow. And I think that all ties back into what you guys are doing here relative to better management of the system. I mean, there's certainly been no operational changes and since you've taken over. It's just strictly a better management of the system because of the day-to-day management operations. So.
Yeah, in addition to that, and I'd certainly commend the Greater Uniontown Authority for bringing in a new manager, Mr. Morey. He's done wonders with turning that plant around, and he's the main reason why DEP has taken a softer approach to South Union Township. And every year we'd have to go to DEP and have them approve X number of taps for our continued growth throughout the township. And we don't even have to do that now other than just reporting it. And there were times in the past when in the monitoring of DEP, there was moratorium. There were times where our taps were actually shut off because of problems with the plant. But Mr. Morey has done wonders for straightening those problems out, and it's certainly evident in the approach and in the lifting of these sanctions by DEP. Although it still concerns me, there are still some personnel problems down at the Greater Uniontown Authority that the authority must take on and resolve and eliminate. And I think with that, the operation of the plant will even run smoother.
In addition to what Mr. Shipwire just said, I do have to point out the significant improvement with the relationship with the DEP. Mr. Morey has turned it around so much that he's actually been invited to train the rest of the operators in the state relative to the operations of the sewage treatment plant. We as a community don't understand what an asset we have at that plant. It is probably one of the only plants in the state that basically has all different operations of what an operator needs to understand relative to the plant. So he's working with the DEP, and at some point, hopefully, we may even be training other operators from throughout the state coming into this community to be trained on the operations of a sanitary sewer plant. So. And
just one other thing, even to expand good relationships, the Board of Supervisors and Mr. Over attended a meeting. We met with DEP down in Pittsburgh in their main office, just to let them know some of the changes that have taken place here in the township, especially with the dissolving of our sewage authority, and letting them know that we have committed to certain corrective plans, improving things that need to be improved within our own system. And they were very pleased that we took the time out and has made that extra effort to have a even stronger relationship and a line of communication with them. And I'll tell you what, and I've been here when the taps were shut off by DEP, and you don't realize you face a situation where development that has taken place over here, when that development is stopped, if that were ever to occur again. So that's why it's so significant that we have a good working relationship with DEP, which we have now, and I can honestly say, in my years here as a Township Supervisor, the relationship has never been better.
think Walmart was one of the projects that was delayed
Absolutely.
significantly when they built the super Walmart. I remember that before I was supervisor. It was delayed months because of no taps, no tap restriction. Well, thank you, gentlemen. The chair to entertain a motion to pass a resolution to approve the sewer planning module for Chili's Restaurant.
I'll move to approve it.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carried. Number 12, pass a resolution to approve a sewer planning module for the McClellan Town Road sewer extension. Mr. Over, you want to touch on that also?
Yeah, this extension is an extension from the Fairfield Inn property towards the hospital in that direction. There were two properties that are currently on-lot, they have on-lot sewage systems. And in the process of the Mr. Gurman's property where the Dollar General sits, they're actually looking to redevelop that property. He as the property owner didn't even know he had an on-lot system, but in testing the on-lot system, it has failed. And in investigation, we actually found out that the neighboring property, which is the church, also has a failed system. Replacing those two systems with, if you could replace those systems with on-lot systems, they are cost prohibitive. So, working with Mr. Gurman, he has agreed to some financial interest in extending this line, and we're going to work with the church to bring their lot into compliance or participate also into this so that we can get those both tapped into the system and eliminate those two on-lot systems that have failed. So,
And it's perfect timing with the Route 21 project. Everything's tore up already, so we would be in the same area in their workplace. So might as well get it done now. It's a win for everyone because both properties aren't being sewered right now by public sewage. They will be. Both property owners will be able to save some money. So it's definitely a win-win situation. Chair to entertain a motion to pass a resolution to approve the sewer planning module for the McClellan Town Road sewer extension.
I'll move to approve.
Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second Mr. Garner's motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Number 13, comment from the public. Any comments from the public? Please come to the podium, state your name for the record.
Hello, everyone.
Aye.
I'm Steve Seaman. I reside in Fairchance, however, I own properties here in South Union
We have an
Township.
address, Steve.
5 Liberty Circle, Fairchance.
Thank you.
My businesses are 522 Morgantown, 524 Morgantown, 532 Morgantown, 10 Metro Plaza, and a few others. Anyhow, the reason for my concern here, I'd like to see if we can, maybe not tonight, but bring this up as a future discussion. I'm here to talk about the dumpster situation. In the code, it says that there has to be a fence around the dumpster. Then it has to be 2 feet higher than the dumpster. So I'm asking here tonight that we consider this and repeal that amendment only to the dumpsters. I want that clause removed that surrounds the dumpster. It's a financial burden on small businesses and actually serves no purpose. It will cost over $1,500 just for me. I'm just having a fence at my house, just putting in 2 little gates, 6 feet wide, and it's already $400 just to put a little fence on. But basically, this is my position. The dumpster is a steel container that weighs over 200 pounds, which means it won't get blown away by the wind like those of other plastic containers. It does not need any more protection. It's not going to be moved. If all 5 of us try to lift one of the dumpsters, we wouldn't be able to do it. It's too heavy. What would happen if we did go with the fence will only collect more paper, more grease and dirt, And if there's no fence, then Mother Nature will keep the area clean. I've had no fences. If you go up to my place, we can sit down and have a picnic right next to it because there's nothing there. There's not a problem. Wintertime, it's not practical to have this fence. Snow and ice will build up on it. It freezes on the lids. And the lids are about, I didn't measure them, but they're about 4 feet long. And in order to lift the lid, then it goes up to where the fence is, and then it can't go over the fence because the fence is 2 feet higher. And then that prevents anyone in the wintertime from using it because there's just too much weight on those particular lids. With the weight of the snow and ice on the lids, it can hurt an employee. That means if you're standing on snow and ice, you're trying to lift the lids, and then you're trying to put in a bag that probably weighs 30, 40 pounds of waste, and then drop the lid. Where now, in the wintertime, we can leave the lids open and put our disposal into it and not be affected by any concern of harm to any of the employees. The solution I have is if there's a crisis with the dumpsters, I would ask you to ask Advanced Waste Management to paint them frequently to make them fresh looking. I go by streets, there's plastic containers right on the street, especially Morgantown Street. Rodents get into the garbage bags, so it's not a win situation for those people as well. But somehow we're being looked at as small businesses that we should do something different than everybody else. I don't know if you guys know or not, I don't know if you gentlemen know or not, but 3-yard dumpsters are not available from Advance. When I used to have my other containment company, I had no problems getting a 3-yard dumpster. Now they're not available. And also, did you know your local call center at Advance is no longer there? Calls are being taken from Lehigh Valley out in the East Coast. Because I had a report that they didn't come and pick up our dumpster on scheduled time.
Excuse me, you're telling us they don't answer the phone out there on 21?
No, they're gone.
When did that start?
I don't know, 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 the most. Because I didn't have our dumpster picked up, and so I was calling. And I usually talk to one of the ladies out here I got to know pretty well, Lynn, and the lady says, well, I don't know who she is because you're calling the East Coast now. It's Lehigh Valley. And so we've been getting more missed pickups. And also, a conclusion to my theory here is, in the summertime, we should have 2 pickups instead of just 1. And that way it'll take care
You
of...
can get 2 pickups, you gotta pay more money for it, right, under the contract?
Well, no, they wouldn't do it even. You know,
I mean, 2 a week.
2 times a week. You have to be consistent throughout the year. You can't...
You gotta sign a contract.
You
with
just
them,
get
right?
a bigger dumpster to allow you for 1 week.
No, you're missing the point. What I'm saying is, right now I have a 4-yard dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need a 4-yard dumpster. We only need a 3-yard dumpster to begin with. But we have 2 restaurants at our facility, and we like to have that garbage moved so we don't get any odors when the temperatures reach 80, 90 degrees. Because you do get, some odors. There's no question about it. And if you could talk to Advance about helping the small business people have their garbage picked up twice in the summertime a week, that would be great. And that eliminates all the odors, if there is any.
I thought you could. I mean,
Now you got to have a contract and it has to be consistent across the board.
For year round.
Yeah.
I know you can call and get a second.
But when I had my other companies that I dealt with personally, because we're forced, what I'm saying is the township has forced us to use this company.
Since 1999.
Right. And no, it was after that, I think.
1999 was our garbage contract.
Well,
No,
no, it had to be later.
Before that?
before that.
Before that?
No, we've had.
Because I was in business
We've
since
had garbage
1990.
collection.
I was using Bay West,
1995?
Yeah, it was in the
And
90s.
then it was amended in 1999. Okay, no.
but I was using Bay West for years.
That was way back when.
Maybe you got away with it.
But anyhow, I was satisfied with their services. So if you can make some contacts, have a discussion on it, open discussion about the fence, I'd appreciate it. I don't expect it tonight, but in the process here of your litigation, I'd hope to see that taken away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Anyone else for public comment? Please come up and state your name.
Hello.
Hi.
I want to welcome you to the crew here.
Oh, thank you. Could you state your name for the?
Yeah, I'm going to. My name's Patricia Georgiana. I live on 13 William Street Extension, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. I've been a proud resident of South Union. I've owned my property since 1975, which is a long time. I lived
What's your address there?
13 William Street Extension,
Thank you.
apartment 5. I do own an apartment building, and it was a private place until the township took it over maybe 20 years ago. And at that time, you had to have an easement to cross over from Derrick onto William Street Extension in your deed. The township took it over, and I was the only one that voted against it because I was the only one that had a grandfathered property at the end and was concerned about losing the parking, which is only in front of my building because the road is wider in front of my building. Part of it's my property, some of it's like 3 foot or something. So we've happily been parking on the street for years and years and years. But lately, a person has bought a property on Derrick Avenue, and he was supposed to, he said he was going to come to the next meeting, which was tonight, so I wanted to be here. So I don't have a lot to say, but I'm very concerned that he's just renting out this house and fixing it up. And there's been so much mud on the street for up to 2 years now. And that's not really why I'm here about the mud, because the township swept it yesterday, but still, I do pressure wash the street once a year. I do take care of all the leaves. We shovel all the snow. I've always maintained in front of my building to be beautiful. I've been a good landlord.
We plow the snow too there.
For years you did, the truck would only come down to my property and stop.
In my 10 years, they've been plowing, at least 10 years they've been
Well,
plowing.
they come into William Street Extension, but they stopped in front of my building lots of times. But that's fine, that's because it was already shoveled. Because Mike Nolan, my tenant, gets out and shovels it as soon as it gets light. And he's a great guy, but he did tell me last night that if he lost parking in front, that he would be moving within the year. I'm concerned, very much concerned about losing. I just lost a space this summer, which is, I'm over it, to this person. But I keep being harassed by this person. And I don't want to lose my 3 parking spaces that were allotted to me. When the township came out to my house the day after the township took over the street, they came out and struck, said, oh, this is wider than I thought. And they struck 2, made the spaces. So we gave up one now, or I did, I'm the only one there. I gave up one for this neighbor so he could get in and out, and it's fine. We stay away from that spot. But I was even ticketed, because he moved the sign, his no parking sign. And he does things on his own like that.
That was dismissed, wasn't it? It was dismissed. We dismissed the sign.
Oh, yeah. But then yesterday, I don't know what happened. Jason, you might know more about it, but you came and knocked on my door, and I was very ill. And I came down and, talked to you. And the neighbor was the first car, and then you were behind them. So I don't know, what was going on. But I was told twice by you, I'll just take the parking off the street. Well, that just set, me upset. I got very upset. I mean, I can't lose that. I'll lose my business.
Now, when I came, you were there, you saw. Cars could not get through
Yes,
where
they
the
could.
truck was parked.
That could get through with that truck.
You even said to yourself you'd have to make them move them, they shouldn't park there.
Absolutely.
Because there was a huge truck parked
He's
there.
not, I'll tell you what happened. He's not a
But I'm
tenant.
saying, that's the first time I was up there, and for the record, was the truck not halfway or more out in the road?
No,
blue
he was
truck.
next to the fence. And I
It
told
was
you you
next to
could
the
get
fence,
through.
but it was a huge truck in there.
Absolutely. And
Right.
I gave him heck too.
And I wasn't, I
I
just
gave him
said,
heck, and I told him never to park out front again. I do not allow my tenants to park in other tenants' parking spots or trucks out
right.
front.
And the only reason I was there, I saw the mud on the road, I wanted to see if we could get the sweeper
Absolutely.
truck in
But
there,
I agree
and
with
that's what I
you
told
with the
you.
too big a truck. I don't
Right.
rent to people that own trucks. There is one
Right.
now, but they're moving, but they got the truck after they moved there.
Right.
I try to rent to people with only one car. I try to rent to single working people. I've kept that place very nice all these years. Now, if my health is failing, I'm not going to be around a lot longer, and I want peace. I just want peace. I want to know that I can have 3 parking spaces in this neighbor not to bother me. He lives far away, on up, and he's renting it out in a month or 2, and I just want to make peace with whoever's renting it. I don't want this to lose my parking over someone that has no business coming down and trying to take it away. And I was told last night that he's adamant about taking the parking. How can he take it,
I didn't even talk to him, so I don't know. I mean,
I'm
that's,
not saying you
when I
did.
did, you saw
But
when
it's
I
been
talked.
going on for over a year and a
Right.
half about the
I was
parking.
just there to sweep the street. That's the only reason I was there.
Well, I know, you might,
And
you're
I
not
told you that
informed.
when I
You're
looked.
not very informed, though, about what's going on. You
Right.
didn't know.
I
how
just
many
happened to see
units
the
were
mud
there?
and I pulled in to see if we could get the street sweeper down.
Right,
The truck
that was a
there.
good deal. I thought that was
all.
fine. We moved the vehicles and
And
the
I
street
swept the
sweeper came.
street.
Right, but I have no problem with you. I was just concerned about your comments upset me.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it
you're
just,
not very informed.
there's no answer
grandfather
though.
or
It's just
anything.
like the other situation. There is no right answer.
Well, the township was even in the paper. They gave me parking in front of my,
That's what you said, and
Building.
I honestly I haven't had time to research it. I was going to research it just to see
well,
if
they
that was
can't, I
the
don't
fake.
think, Mr. Frankhauser, you had to have come out there
I'm
then.
gonna have to.
Mr.
I'm gonna have to
I mean,
get to
Chip Bar, I'm
my
sorry, I'm so used to him being here.
senior.
I'm old.
But I will look into it, and I will let you know what I find on the spaces. But I've never. I did ask Shauna, the
Well,
secretary, and she said that
I've
she's
been,
never
I've
done
talked to
that.
Rick and I've talked to Mr. Shipper, I'm sorry, and I've never really talked to you because I never
Yeah,
saw you when you were
right.
here, but they have been informed for a long time, and Mr. Shipper has been informed for years about, and things that are going on down there.
Right.
So, and I did promise not to worry about it, my parking would stay there. It was designated by the township, those parking spaces,
Right.
they're not bothering anybody.
Right.
I do keep small cars,
But the small car you had there, I don't think is an issue. It's not. It's just you can't park a big truck like that.
I
And I couldn't get through with my van. I mean,
all right, didn't I agree with
yeah,
you?
you did. You did.
Didn't I tell you?
But the
that
small car
truck
is not an issue. It's
Didn't
just
I
the
go
big truck.
in
You
that
did.
apartment and you
You
left
did.
by that time, I gave them heck and I said.
But they
"Don't
moved.
you ever park again
I
on
agree.
this street. If you need a park, you go in my driveway.
Right.
And I gave him heck. I said, you're not gonna cause a problem for me with the township for my parking. I
Right.
said, you're gonna be here and gone. My granddaughter was in there taking a time test for college and her boyfriend followed her there,
Yeah.
So,
Well-
but he thought you could get by and my other tenant has a F-150, like
Right,
whatchamacallits, and, he drove by it once before when it was out front.
Right.
So, I'm very sorry that he was there.
Okay. No problem.
But I just want to know if Mr. Shipar or Mr. Vernon could give me any input on what's going on with this parking. Is there anything going on, so just relax?
As far as I know, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never talked to who you're
Oh, you
referring
just said
to.
that.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to him, casually, but nothing about
Well, last
that.
night, he has a tendency to go over to the next door neighbors, and then my tenant's there, and then so-and-so comes back to me, and I got the scoop that
I don't
he was
know
coming
anything
to
about
let
You two were working it out, no problem, in the last couple of months, right?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
I don't know what happened just, I mean, he
So
is,
professional courtesy, you have to try to
here's what
help each
I
other out.
me.
Both of you, professional courtesy, with you, both of you.
I tried. I asked him if I could speak to him one day, and he said he didn't have time for me. I don't know if to put on TV what he says to me.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Well, is there any, should I not worry, or is there something, I really need to know, is he coming down here and saying he really wants to take the parking away? Is that an issue here?
That's the
It's
first
not.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's what I'm going to promise you guys. I'm in the back. I can't see the street all the time. I'm in bed a lot because I'm ill. But I promise you that I'll continue, as I always have for 40 years, and that's try and rent to people with one car and I do monitor the street. I will continue to pressure wash it once a year at least, and I maintain it, and I'll continue that. I love my property. I really love my property. And I really can't have a business there if I can't have those 3 spaces, because the tenants come out way up on the other end of the building, off the side, Mike's place. And he's the one that said he'd move within a year if he could. And he's 68 or something now. I'm older. He's 67. I'm a little older than him. But, we're getting up there. And I'm very handicapped. And I have to throw my car out there sometimes because I can't walk up 14 steps.
Right.
And so I just want peace, you know. If there's anything bad, you know, I just don't want to sell it to some slumlord. That would break my heart because I put a lot of work in it. I just had a $1,000 window put in last week in the back kitchen of the front apartment, so I'm still working on it. So, peace, guys.
Peace.
We'll try to work with you. Take care.
One other
Thanks,
question about
Trish.
storage, real quick. My mother has a house on Derrick Avenue, 409 Derrick. She doesn't have it now. She passed away in May of 2014. And she's still getting, I'm getting her sewage bill, and it's up to 400 and some now. I've talked to Maxine, and she says, well, I'm the next of kin. I have no money to pay her sewage bill. And,
It's still in your mother's name, though, right?
that's, yeah, she looked on the file. It's with my mother and dad, and he died in 2007. And she said it goes to next of kin, which I don't know why. If I have a brother and a sister, why is it coming on me? It was a reverse mortgage. I have no access to the house or anything. It's not being used. It's all closed up. You know, has big signs on the front of it because
Well,
it's
the
busted.
policy of the 30s before we took it over is, if you take your water meter out, then they won't charge you for the sewage.
I think she said
Is that
something
correct,
like
Mr.
that.
Davis?
So,
Yeah, the bill is not, the bill's responsibility of, is there an estate? Have they raised an estate for your parent?
my parents had no money when they passed. I
So-
needed a reverse mortgage.
So the bill would be an assessment against the real estate, and it would not be your responsibility, just
Well,
as
how do I
next.
get that changed so I'm not getting the bill? And I can get the name of the company that has it. and give it to
I would give
Maxine.
that to Maxine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that, and I'll tell them they
We'll
can
take care of that
make
for
it
you.
wrong.
Yeah, we can, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Mhm, thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Yes, me. My name's Barney Sussman, I live at 61 Mullen Street. Listening to Miss Georgiana speak about designated parking spaces that the township gave to her, what is the designated parking space that the township gives to
I can answer
residents? No, I want them, please.
None of my knowledge.
First of all,
None.
what the supervisor said was that they would look into it. We're not aware, we don't know what happened back when Mrs. Georgiana is referring to, and we have to research it.
Okay, so then I would like to know the same thing, okay? Or do I have to do a right-to-know request on that?
I'm not going to advise you.
Wait a minute. There's no such thing as an
Right.
official designated parking space as far as the Board of Supervisors. On William Street, what we did there, we went up,
Allowed.
talked to Miss Georgiana and the other people, and like at your street, say, let's try to work this out. So far, it's been working out most of the times, but there is no such thing in existence as a
I
designated parking.
designated, not the township.
Yeah.
There's no
Nothing I know of.
No.
Okay.
I designated.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
I just want to comment on that, just real quickly. Do I have to walk through
No,
there?
go ahead. You can do
Stay
it from
right there.
Okay, it's just that the township didn't say that no one else could park in these spaces but my tenants. I mean, it's open parking, right, you know, it's a public street, but it's a dead end and nobody else has intention of wanting to park down there. So, you know, it's just always been observed. And in my lease, the tenants only park in their designated spaces, so I call them designated spaces, but they're really not as far as the law goes. You know, if someone parked there, I couldn't say, you gotta leave.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anyone else? Number 14, the financial statement. Mr. Treasurer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Financial statement for the month of February. Our general fund checking account, $350,331.87. Our general fund investment account, $389,557.41. Our state fund, $5,647.33. Our hydrant fund, $607.63. Our athletic fund, $5,758.88. Our sewage fund, the revenue account, $488,253.76. Our collection account, $166,355.64. Our tap-in connection account, $2,660.50. Our sanitary sewage assessment account, 29 cents. Route 21 pump station, $337,700.40. Our construction surplus investment account, $948,777.67. Our United Federal Credit Union shares account, $50.07. Our United Federal Credit Union CD, $102,915.21. For a total of sewage would be $2,046, $2,046,713.54. Our North Union South Union Government Board Fund is $20,802.73 for a grand total of $4,866,132.93. That's my report.
Does anyone have any corrections? On the sewage, it was $2,046,713.54.
Right. That's total for the, what I went over.
For the sewage, yes.
Yeah, all the sewage fund.
Any other corrections? Thank you, Mr. Vernon. Number 15, motion to pay all the current bills.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to pay the following current bills. From the North Union South Union Township Intergovernmental Board Fund, $5,350. From the State Fund, $85. Athletic Fund, $4,806.41. From the Sewage Fund, $140,062.51. And from the General Fund, total of $254,911.19. That is my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second Mr. Schiffauer's motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Yes. Motion carries. Number 16, the solicitor's report. Anything, Mr.
I
Solicitor?
have nothing to report.
Been very informative today.
How about engineer report too? He's easier.
And also ask, our engineer have anything to report?
The only thing I'd like to report is that there was a transaction that occurred for the Lidl store at the old Cherry Tree Square where the old Walmart was. So that transaction has been made and that project is moving forward. So I don't have any more dates or acknowledgement as to when the construction is going to begin, but the transaction did happen. And Lidl is a property owner within South Union Township now. And for those that don't know, they are a European grocer, so they're looking to get into the American market, and one of their first stores in the American market will be here in South Union Township. So.
Yeah, it's very exciting when I heard about that. Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Number 17, a motion to adjourn. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 4:58.
A motion, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and proper second on the roll call. Mr. Vernon?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yeah.
Mr. Scott, yes. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
I have a start putting. All right.